Welcome back to the Whatever Buddy podcast. Today we are getting crazy. We're getting nuts. We are going into the world of sports. That's right. You heard me right. Sports. Like football, where 11 men run around and play with their balls. But that doesn't matter. Today is about competition. Fighting till the death. Body slamming and ball jamming. That's why we invited all the way from Philadelphia, Philly's own sports enthusiast and all-around angry fan, Mr. Mad Mike, to join us later. So, with no further ado, here's Ryan and Johnny. Game on! Yowza!
I like it. Is that your David Lee Roth?
Yowza!
Ice cream man.
I'm an ice cream man. Pass the way passing by, whatever the fucking lyrics are.
It's not a bad David Lee Roth. What's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while. We took a little bit of a break.
Ryan Harris, it has been a little bit of a break. I had to journey to the other side of the country, your side of the country, actually, to go visit my mom. You know, let's send some prayers. She's doing better, but, you know, it was a little bit of a scare there, so we had to take off, went down there, you know.
Mama U,
she's a good woman. She created Johnny U.
That's
Talk about myself in the third person again, huh?
Yeah.
I'll tell you something, though, about Florida, brother. It's been a while since I've been to the East Coast. And even though it's the Southeast, we did have Balunsky on, and he was a Floridian. But, man, there's an East Coast thing going there. And where my folks live, which is on the East Coast of Florida, it's basically the Northeast of America down in Florida. And I felt that attitude. I felt like I was back in Philly. And to be honest with you, man, I've been in California long enough to realize that Philadelphia... Yeah, Dude, I'll tell you something. There's something to be said about waking up to sunshine every day, because the reality of it is this. Philadelphia people are angry. They're real angry. And the reputation lets the world know how angry we really are. And funny enough, in Los Angeles standards, I'm a pretty angry guy. I'm what people like to say here, very intense. But like that never was said to me ever before I moved to California. Now...
You make it so easy for me to call you Johnny Karen. I'm trying not to say it every time we talk.
Fuck, dude?
I'm trying not to say it every time.
Okay, cool. Well, do it. Do what you got to do to make yourself feel better, bachelor guy. I realize that when I go back and I'm in the environment of the East Coast, Northeast folk, whether it's Florida or Philadelphia, you know, I went back a few years ago to visit to Philly, and dude, there's no question that like, I left Philadelphia because I was like, all right, this city, I need some change. I need to go where I left for music school. And when I went out to LA, it was like New York or LA, and I went where the sunshine was. I didn't realize the personality difference. Now, when I go back to Philly, no lie, dude, I look around, I'm like, man, these people need to chill the F out. Way too high strung. And that sets up our episode for today, Ryan. I got to tell you, today is Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh. Philadelphia is a crazy sports town.
They're the worst fans. You're the worst.
No, they don't have the worst fans. They got the most passionate fans. Let's get this straight. People perceive it as the worst. I perceive it as we have a lot of heart, we got a lot of soul, and we are passionate fans. Now, with that being said...
Anybody's going to say that about their own city. People probably look at Steeler fans and think they suck.
Actually, if they're from Pennsylvania, you're a blue-collar town like Philadelphia, I'd imagine there's a lot of die-hard, passionate...
Probably the same thing.
Passion. It's just passion, dude. It's just passion. With that being said, I am a diehard Philadelphia sports fan. I do live in Los Angeles. You can take the kid out of Philly, but you can't take the Philly out of the kid. Now, out of all the sports teams in Philly, I'm a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan, which, just so you know, with a little bit of prep work, everybody, we'll talk about it more, but today's guest is a gentleman named Mad Mike. He is a Philadelphia sports fan that intrigues Ryan and I. We will get to that later on why he intrigues Ryan and I, but for right now, let me just say he will be coming and he shall be entertaining. I hope. We've never met him. We have no idea, but he seems like a nice, positive energy guy with a name like Mad Mike. I really do think Philadelphia gets a rough rap when it comes to that.
I love Philadelphia.
And I love Pittsburgh, just for the record.
I've never been to a game there, though, so I'd probably have a different experience.
I've been to a few games in Philly, and as crazy as I see the stuff that we see on the internet or watch on the news. I've never personally experienced anything like that. But Philadelphia as a whole, I think gets a bad rap. It's a beautiful place. It's an up and coming, like it's already, I can't call it up and coming, it was the first capital of this country, but it's got a rejuvenation happening, where it's like, all the, things are coming back there very strong. I went back to visit and there was like skyscrapers I'd never seen before. Like I have Philadelphia tattooed on my arm here. I guess you can't quite see it, but weird angle. Yeah, I'm missing a building. Maybe two now. I don't know. Maybe I might need to
On
add
your
them.
arm, you mean you're missing a building?
Yeah, I have this.
Oh, you mean the cityscape that you have tattooed
look,
is now
see?
inaccurate.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, but see, there it is.
Yeah.
And the Love Park side.
Yeah.
Because see that the irony that the first Love Park and that love sign was in Philadelphia. The irony. And the other irony is the nickname of the city is called the City of Brotherly Love, which is just, irony.
Anybody probably unfamiliar with this has no idea what Philadelphia sports fans are like. Pull up a video so people can see whenever I say that they suck, what I'm talking about.
Okay, I can do this for you, Ryan Harris, and the people of the world.
No one likes us. No one likes us. No one likes us. We don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly. No one likes us. We don't care.
Nice. See? That's what it's about, Ryan Harris, right there, brother. We're from Philly.
At least they know it.
From fucking Philly. No one likes us. We don't care.
The national perception of the Philadelphia sports fan is that they are lunatics, almost pathologically negative. And I think it is a richly justified reputation.
That's how I want to start out.
A richly
the podcast.
justified reputation, such a passive aggressive way of being like they're all dicks.
The whole stadium saying, "You suck, asshole." How great is that?
See, I think that's awesome though.
What's that?
I think that's awesome though.
I like.
Could you imagine
Fuck you,
playing?
asshole.
Could you imagine
you suck,
being?
asshole? Did you catch
Well, that
that
sucks. But could you imagine being
I
the
loved it.
visiting? Could you imagine being the visiting team when the entire place is shouting, "You can't beat us"? That doesn't get
I
into
would
your
love
head.
to know what the score was at that point, because it'd be really
Yeah.
funny if they were losing.
Everyone else is like, "We can and we are."
Before the Philadelphia Eagles moved to Lincoln Financial Field, they played at Veterans Stadium. Veterans Stadium, the 700 level, which is at the top, was known to be a fucking bad place to be. You didn't want to be there, and you sure as hell didn't want to wear the other team's jersey there. Things were so bad at Veterans Stadium, they had a set-up courthouse in the basement of the stadium every Sunday. So if you got in trouble, you went right in front of the judge.
Wow.
Every Sunday, yeah,
In the stadium.
in the stadium.
It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty fucking great. I love Philadelphia, man.
I
love
mean,
it.
look, I'm not saying I would want to be there if I was the outsider, but there's passion in that. I can
Hey,
respect it.
I dig it, bro. I dig it.
Also, if you're knowingly going into that environment with an away jersey on, self-inflicted dummy.
Self-inflicted fucking dumb fuck. Can you believe it?
All right, let me be neutral here. It's more fun to go to a game where the fans are diehard into the team than it would be to go to a game where they're just don't care. I hate nothing more than whenever you see. It happens with the Steelers a lot. They'll go to a city and there's more Steeler fans at their away game than there are
Eagles
for that home,
all the time,
home team.
dude. I went and saw the Eagles play here in Los Angeles. It was 80% Eagles fans. Let's talk about Pittsburgh for a second, man.
Yeah,
What do you think in
let's.
Pittsburgh? What in Pittsburgh would you say that the people of Pittsburgh dislike the most about Philadelphia?
The Flyers. That's a pretty good rivalry. Dude, remember we were on tour a couple of years ago. We were in Denver watching the Pittsburgh Flyers game, and there was
Shout out
like,
to Frankie.
yeah, how many fights were in that game? It was
That was the
awesome.
craziest thing ever, though. That really was probably the most exciting hockey game I've ever watched.
That was
on
the
television.
most exciting hockey game that I can think
We
of.
won, of course, just
Yeah.
in case you forgot. But if you look at how many Stanley Cups that the the Penguins have won in comparison to the two the Flyers won back in like the 70s?
They're both cities that can arguably stand up for themselves based on their records alone. Like, they have successful teams.
If you want to break it down, there really is no comparison, because if you look the amount of Super Bowls the Steelers have won, and if you look at the amount of Stanley Cups the Penguins have won, the only place we have Pittsburgh, and I don't even know if we do, I would say, is in baseball. We've won twice. You destroy us. I don't even think there's a comparison. How many Stanley Cups have the Penguins won?
Oh, man. 6, maybe? I should know that.
You should.
I should really know. This is the thing that's going to happen, dude. This is what's going to happen. You and Mad Mike are going to bro out from being from Philly. You're going to come at me because
he's an angry guy.
You're going to come at me because I'm from Pittsburgh, and then you're going to someone's going to ask a question like that, and I'm not going to know the fact, and then I'm going to look like a dummy.
You already do look like a dummy.
Why?
Yo, dummy!
Why do I look like a dummy? Because I didn't know the exact number of Stanley Cups?
Yeah. Exactly.
Two music dudes talking sports, man.
Look at that. Did you see that 3-pointer? Woo!
Did you wear?
I got my jock strap on. Don't worry.
Dude, you should have wore your tracksuit today.
Why?
Because you're an athlete today.
We're just talking athletics, bro. It's the day off. Athletic talk. We could talk about volleyball.
I feel like wearing your jumpsuit would put you in the mood to be sportsy.
I could just wear a Speedo. That would make me a swim guy. We could do that. Should I just start shedding the clothes or what?
I could wait a minute while you go change. You know who I'm an even bigger fan of, Johnny?
Who's that? What's that?
The Steagles.
The Steagles. Oh, give a little bit of history on that, Mr. World War II fucking knowledge guy.
So, yeah, it's a real thing. At World War II time, I think it was in the 40s, both teams didn't have enough guys on their roster
Both
to have a
teams
full
being
team.
the Philadelphia Eagles and
The Eagles and the
Pittsburgh
Steelers didn't have enough players on their roster because guys were over at war. So they formed one team, the Pennsylvania Steagles.
And why is the whole name of the Eagles in the name? Does that make my team a little bit more dominant?
No, Steelers are dominant because the ST starts out the word, Steagles.
I
So they
see
came
where
first.
you're coming from, but
Yeah.
there's only 2 words. Two letters. Only 2 letters.
Well, how are you going to take part of Eagles?
Well, you could take steel and have gulls at the end, and then it would have been more Steelers.
Steelgles?
Steelgulls. Will be the Steelgulls.
You can't even say it.
Steelgulls.
Listen, man, you're getting a little bit better at words, but that one's not going to work for you.
Oh, I'm the word guy, dude. Don't you forget it. Don't you forget it.
Word, man. I want to do some kind of like throwback back to like, like greaser times.
The 60s,
Whenever
right? 50s, late 50s.
late 50s, 60s,
60s.
greaser times, whenever like your buddies had nicknames and everything, and I'm going to call you Word Man. You're going to be Word Man.
Wasn't Word Man a character in Escape
West
from
Side Story?
Alcatraz? No, I think it was like Escape from Alcatraz or something like that. The Word
Birdman.
Oh,
Birdman
no.
was a prisoner
You know
in
the
Alcatraz.
Word Man? Did you ever see the movie Eddie and the Cruisers? Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
he's
I
the
love that
Word
movie,
Man.
dude.
Yeah, dude, I love that. I
Word
love
Man.
that movie. It's so good.
You're
So
Word
good.
Man.
The Word Man. Fuck
Dude,
yeah,
good.
bitches.
Good movie reference, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like it. All right, so
Once
here
again-
I want a question because genuinely I don't know who our guest is. I'm taking your
Yeah.
word for it that he is an entertaining, angry radio caller. His name's Mad Mike. Tell me, Johnny, why is he so mad?
Philadelphia sports radio is a very big thing. There's like 2 really large Philly sport radio stations. I am sometimes a caller on these. And through doing that, I have learned about Mad Mike, along with calling and listening because he seems to be on the radio quite a bit. I've never heard him say anything positive.
So he's totally gonna hate me.
Well, maybe. I mean, he'll probably just
Yeah.
hate you because you're from Pittsburgh.
That's what I mean. I mean, he's not gonna hate me as a person.
The thing is this, and this is something I do want to ask him, because he just seems like more like negative Mike as opposed to Mad Mike.
So what makes him a fan?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I want to get down to the bottom
You could
of.
be a
This is what I
cynic.
No, like this is the deal. Like here's a little background of the guy. Mad Mike is a Philadelphia sports radio caller. He's a regular. He calls all the time, and he talks to these guys on the Go Birds podcast. It's Go Birds podcast, but then it goes Go Birds radio once a week.
Which I, very publicly, could give a shit about.
Most people who are listening to this probably everybody could give a shit except for me. But I'm stoked to talk about it, and if you're still listening, thank you, because I'm really excited about it. So I wanted to get Mad Mike on for one reason. I love football, and I love the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm positive, even when they suck, I can find a way, like, we're going to turn it around. And you know what? A lot of the times they do. Philadelphia seems to always turn it around very Rocky Balboa-like, you know?
You guys beat Brady in the Super Bowl.
We beat Brady in the Super Bowl. You know what's great
What's
about that?
to be negative about that?
All right, well, I know of a negative thing that Mad Mike has said about that. In that Super Bowl, there was a winning play with 2 minutes left in the game. The Philadelphia Eagles, to this point, had never won a Super Bowl. They won a championship before the NFL merger, before the Super Bowl was ever created. It was like in 1960-something. The play that changed the destiny of the Philadelphia Eagles was a play where Brandon Graham, who's a defensive guy, he sacked Tom Brady, who, even if you're not a football fan, you've heard of Tom Brady. And when he sacked him, the ball came loose and the Eagles got the ball. And that pretty much locked up the game for us. Mad Mike calls that the most overrated play ever when it was voted the best play in Philadelphia sports history, as it should be, because it's the play that brought us the first and only Super Bowl we've ever had.
And what's his logic?
I don't know. We'll get to the bottom of that. I have no idea. He thinks Brandon Graham, seriously, Google Brandon Graham. The guy's got the biggest smile. He's the nicest guy. He's just full of positive energy. And if I had to guess, that's probably why Mad Mike just doesn't like him, because Mad Mike, we got to get to the bottom of this. He's Mad Mike right now, Ryan Harris, but I want to make Mad Mike positive, happy Mike. That's the goal. Hopefully we succeed. Hopefully we succeed, but we may not. We're going to talk about Philadelphia Eagles is what I'm probably going to focus it on the most, because that's my favorite team. And as we go along in this podcast, I'm going to throw a couple of key facts along the way so those non-sports fans will just at least enjoy the conversation, because they'll understand what they're listening to, kinda, I guess.
You know what, buddy? Let that be my job. Let that be my job. While you throw your little facts in, I'll just make fun of those facts, and hopefully it's funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, listen,
maybe
we don't want to lose any.
Maybe
We
I'll
don't
be
want to
annoying.
lose any listeners. Just hear us out. We don't want to lose.
Way to
any.
set the podcast up.
Right. We don't want to lose any of you guys. We need you to hang out. You know, sports and city talk. How can you go wrong with that, right?
It's fun.
What is it? Schittsburg versus Philadelphia, would you say?
Yeah. I'm from Schittsburg, and you're from Philadelphia.
Yeah. See, that's the thing that's really strange about this episode is, like, if you talk to Ryan and I about music, we can talk to you all day in, day out about anything. Well, not anything. You could stump me probably with music at times. But when it comes to sports, as much as I'm a fan, I know a little bit. Ryan probably doesn't know much at all. And we're out of our element as much as you guys are out of your element.
Here's what's going to happen, dude. You two are going to bro out because you're both Philly guys. And then you're going to start taking your shots at the Pittsburgh guy.
As we should.
And then I'm going to have to defend myself, naturally. And the only thing that concerns me is that if we get into some sort of like sports conversation, you could stump me. You're going to be able to stump me. I don't know anything about it. I know the rules of the sports, of the games, but you're going to talk about like front office personalities and
we
people
may or
on
may
the
not
roster.
a little bit, but
no
check it
idea.
out though, Ryan. Let's try to figure out if he's really even a Philadelphia fan, because it makes you wonder if you have nothing good to say, right? There's nothing good to say, then what makes you a fan exactly?
Let's find out. Let's get this guy. What do you say?
Let's get him in here. You ready? Let's get him in here. All right, let's do it.
All right. Mad Mike. So Johnny was able to find this clip of Mad Mike being Mad Mike.
They're doing the same idiotic moves that everybody thought Howie was a cap wizard when really he's just a moron that keeps pushing the money back and back and back until the credit card bills do it. And it's going to happen again. And the reason that Howie is doing this is because if he didn't and if they rebuilt and they did what they should be doing, they'd be exposed for how little talent is on this team, and everybody would see how bad of a GM he really is. So he's one foot in, 1 foot out, because all he's trying to do is protect his job because he's done a garbage job of being a GM.
Where I disagree with you on this, and I think
we always do, because
we always do.
always protect
it's
Howie.
fun.
Yeah, so that just makes me wonder, is he a fan? I can see you being a cynic, but is he a fan?
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we?
Yes. Hello.
Hello, Mad Mike.
Hello, how you guys doing?
We're doing
Fantastic,
good.
man.
He's
Thanks for joining
eyeballs.
us.
There he is. There he
Sorry
is.
about
That's
that.
what it looks like. Wow. I've been trying to
Hey.
figure out. I'm Johnny. That's Ryan, by the way.
Hey,
you doing?
how are you?
This is great. Wow, Mad Mike has a face. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is awesome. See, Mike, I don't know if you know this. We've shared calls before, and not only have we shared calls before, we've been lined up next to each other on WIP
Really?
on Go Birds Radio. Ryan,
Okay.
would you like to play him the tape, please?
Yeah.
Well, Mad Mike did not agree with you.
That's
I'm going to
doing
take
work.
a guess that our next caller is going to agree with you because on my board it says Elliot is always right, James is always wrong. Johnny in Los Angeles, am I always wrong about everything, really?
That isn't exactly what I said, Mr. James. First, let me say hello.
Hey,
How you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing great. It's nice to talk to you guys. It's been a really long time. I
Yeah,
have
thanks for
followed
calling.
along on the pod, though. So
Awesome.
I'm with you.
Thanks, man. We really appreciate that.
First, Mad Mike. Did he enjoy winning the Super Bowl, or was he angry with that?
He was definitely they gave up 33 points type of guy.
Yeah, he was like, Jim
Yeah.
Schwartz sucked today. Guy. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
I
That was
actually
March
remember
6th.
that call. I remember that call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been following you forever, man. And like, we're doing this thing, and we're like musicians. So, like, sports is like a thing that's out of our element a bit.
Okay.
I do know a bit about Philly sports because I'm from Philly, born and raised, and a diehard Philly sports guy, and Eagles especially. Ryan, on the other hand, he's from Pittsburgh. And he is a Steelers fan, and unfortunately, he's a fucking Penguins fan, but whatever.
My condolences. I'm sorry.
That's
I
what
knew
I'm
this was
saying,
going to
right?
happen. See, you guys are going to bro out over Philly, and then you're going to start picking on me. And then I'm not really a factual guy, so you're just going to Johnny's going to throw some like, well, this part of the roster didn't do this in 1999, and I'm going to be like, oh, well, yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
I'll actually say this. You guys have one of the cleanest cities I've ever seen. I went there. I'm a pro wrestling fanatic, especially in my younger days. And I went and saw a wrestling match in Pittsburgh, and I was actually astounded by how genuinely clean comparatively Pittsburgh is to Philadelphia. So
Yeah, I love it.
You guys definitely have that going.
They do, but you know what they don't have? They don't have the passion of our fans. They might pretend to have the passion of our fans, but they don't. They don't. No chance.
You're
No chance.
crazy.
You're crazy. Come on, the Steelers. All right, they're cool, right? And I get it, but it's not Philadelphia, bro.
Yeah, that towel thing really that irks
The
me.
towel is
The
intense,
terrible
and then they
towels are
play-
the worst things ever.
They play in the fourth quarter every game. They play Renegade by Styx, and the whole place just starts bouncing and everything.
Really,
They got fans, man.
So, Mike, you're from Philly,
right outside King of Prussia.
King of Prussia. Oh, home of Bloodhound Gang.
My old band toured with Bloodhound Gang.
Did you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. What a
Yeah.
weird combination.
It was a weird combination, but they were cool.
So, Mike, how did you get the moniker Mad Mike? How did this
All
come
right.
to be?
So, actually, I'm genuinely actually a pretty optimistic, happy person. But the Eagles, and I'll say this, Howie Roseman drive
For those
me
who
up.
don't know, Howie Roseman is the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles of the NFL.
Howie Roseman drives me up a wall. And like a lot of people, like you said on yours, did Mike enjoy the Super Bowl? Yes, I enjoyed the Super Bowl. I actually cried that day because I didn't think I was ever going to see that. But that year, 2017 and forward, even before the Super Bowl happened, Howie Roseman, in my opinion, had the worst NFL draft ever. The 2017 NFL draft is the starting point of the Eagles' current downfall. So I've been on this whole crusade to get my team back by being as angry as I can be, pointing out how ineffective this GM is. And it's kind of spiraled into me being this evil villain of a Philly sports fan.
Question for you. Are there other people like you are seeing all this going on and they're calling in and they're making
No, I actually
any like minds with you?
No, I call in and I make people so angry and so sad when I
He
call
used to
in.
make me angry. That's how this all ended up, by the way.
Like I love it because I feel like, and sometimes some people are like, that man Mike, I don't like what he says, but he has a point. So that's a win for me. So I'll take that. But like the longer that I've been doing this and the more that I've been calling in, I sometimes wonder if we say we're this smart fan base, and I wonder if we're really not. We think we're this like hard-working blue-collar city, and we are. So we want all of our people to be like that, right? But like we want them to be this hardworking, and like we want them to relate to us, and we want them to be like us. But like really, these are millionaires, right? Like millionaires that play a sport that like are completely different. Like they don't relate to us because they don't even make the money they make is on a different level. So trying to have them relate to us is just pandering. So we just want them to pander to us. So like,
But hey, listen, let's be positive, because in all reality, I am that positive guy. Like,
but see, I'm not. So I'll just.
I know, and I'm with you though, because it's that hope, it's that false hope. And when we actually won it in 2017, it was almost like, well, now that we've won it, now what? Because it was like for years, it was always like we got to win the Super Bowl, and every year it was like it's this year, and then it was never, and then it happened.
But doesn't it feel like at 17 was just all dumb luck at this point now? Like the way everything's played out and the way everything's happened, it just feels like dumb luck. Like you like stumbled into it. And like this is the thing.
But isn't a win a win though when it comes down to it?
But sometimes it's not. So, and this is another thing that I get upset about, and why I don't want the Eagles to win or do well, because this thought.
So you want them to lose now?
Yeah, and I'll explain why. Okay. And it's crazy and convoluted. Maybe I'm a psycho, and I'm fine with that. Maybe I am a psycho.
If you are, you're on with two other psychos, so we're all good here.
I'm a Mad Mike fan, though, because he's a realist.
I guess that makes Ryan, and technically speaking, makes you a better city, because you guys actually win, and we really don't.
They both have a pretty decent track record, though. I mean, we don't have a basketball team. There's that. The Pirates suck.
We only got you with the Pirates. The Pirates, we've won 2 World Series to your 1.
We have 1.
You got us in hockey. You got us in football.
Yeah.
I mean, you got us.
Yeah, we got you.
Although we got a basketball team, so we might have you there. And we have better sandwiches. Let's move on to that.
Okay, let's go into that section here. We're going to ask you a series of questions, and the first thing that comes to your mind or your reactions towards that, I want to know. And so one of the things that I was wondering was Gritty versus the Philly Fanatic in a fight to the death. Who do you got?
I think Gritty. I think Philly Fanatic is just like in a fight to the death. Like Gritty might stab somebody. Like he threatened. I think the Pittsburgh Penguins mascot. Like
Probably,
on Twitter once.
Yeah.
And the Philly Fanatic's just a happy-go-lucky guy, just playing with his fat tummy. Like
what if he had an evil side and he just used that nose of his to beat the shit out of people?
I would go on the record as saying that Gritty might be the most likely mascot to have committed murder.
Yeah, I would say so.
Next question. Wawa versus Sheetz, and why?
Okay, so I'll say this.
For those who don't know, real quick, Wawa and Sheetz are both 2 of the most amazing convenience stores that really I haven't come across a place anywhere.
Yeah.
Made to order everything. It's like a convenience store, but like you can get sandwiches, pizzas, soups, whatever it is you want. So either one we pick here is cool, because we just feel sorry for the people who never get to experience such great things.
Yeah, so old school Wawa would bitch slap Sheetz, because old school Wawa had a full service deli in it, but they don't have that anymore.
No?
Right?
They got rid of that?
They got rid of the deli part, so you can't get ham. Wow. Like you can't get so it's all MTO now. It's all made to order. I was on a business trip in North Carolina, and I was at the nicest Sheetz I've ever seen in my life.
Sheetz is down in North Carolina now?
It is. And I had myself a schmuffin out of there.
Schmuffins are so good.
Can somebody tell me what the fuck a schmuffin is?
A schmuffin is a breakfast sandwich that you can get made up down there. And it was pretty It's
like an Egg McMuffin.
Yeah, and awesome. And I had, like I went to my business meeting after going to Sheetz, and I had a good day. So I would take Sheetz over Wawa if it was just head to head.
I'll tell you why. I agree with you, and here's why. Because they both do a great thing, but Sheetz has the presentation.
Mm-hmm. Ryan, you got the next question.
I have the question of the day. Pat Steaks versus Geno's.
I'm more of a Pats guy, but if people,
your family,
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But I'll tell you this: people in the city would say that's just tourists, and you should really be going to Steve's or D'Alessandro's. But
So
I'm
here's a funny
Pats guy.
Pat story that you'll appreciate. Ryan and I, we've been playing in a band together for years, and we were on tour with this band, Acidic. They're really young kids, and these kids, for the first time, were playing Philly, and we go to Pat Steaks. It's like fucking 9:30 in the morning or some shit like that. And I go up, I order a plain steak with pizza sauce. Guy behind me, kid from Texas.
When you order your steak, you have to order it very, very specifically. You tell them exactly what you want on it.
Right.
And so they don't really joke around too much.
Yeah.
Right. So I order the plain steak with pizza sauce. Kid behind me, nice 19-year-old kid from Texas. He walks up, he goes, I'll have the same thing as him, but with mushrooms. And the guy goes, it ain't the same fucking thing, now is it? And the kid's like, scared shitless, and he goes, now is it? He goes, no. He goes, okay, steak with sauce with mushrooms. It ain't the same fucking thing, now is it?
That's really funny.
This is what I heard the last of Mad Mike. This was a couple of weeks back. So there was a poll on the radio station for the best play in Philadelphia sports history. And Brandon Graham, who is, if you Google the guy, is like the most likable guy. He smiles all the time. He's got a personality. He loves the city of Philadelphia. He makes the biggest sack of all time, knocking the ball out of Tom Brady's hands. And we get the ball back and we win the Super Bowl. Barely, but we won it. With that being said, Mad Mike thinks it's the most overrated play in I guess Eagles history or whatever, and I think that's crazy because it did win us the Super Bowl.
So all right, so part of that tweet was just me just trying to make people mad. I'll admit it. I go on, and part of it's just to see how upset I can make people. But I actually do think that play was an amazing play, and it really was the defining reason why you probably won the Super Bowl. But if we talk about Brandon Graham as a player, he's wildly overrated.
First round draft pick 2010, correct?
Yep. And you know who you passed over for him? Earl Thomas, who had a Hall of Fame career as a safety, at a position in 2010 that you sorely needed. And then you also passed over Jason Pierre-Paul, who just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that dude blew his hand off with fireworks. He's a clown.
He won a Super Bowl with 8 fingers.
He's won 2 Super Bowls, I think.
He has to be the only player in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with 10 fingers and 8 fingers.
Yeah, and he's all right, and he's got 20,
does he have the finger for the ring?
20 plus more sacks than Brandon Graham's career total. So Brandon Graham only has 59 sacks in 11 seasons worth of play.
But what about the intangibles? Okay, he's the one out of those three guys, he's the only one who was never traded. He was never traded. So he's a good locker room presence for the younger dudes, positive energy, glass half full kind of guy,
I don't care about those things. I care about what do you do on the field. And Brandon Graham is mediocre.
So we want to play another game with you.
Okay.
We call it the Happy Mike segment.
Oh, Happy Mike.
Yeah. So we're going to say something Philly sports related. And you have to say something nice, positive only.
Okay.
Now, we've done our best to try to preface who some of these people are for the people listening. Because like I said, we're mainly music oriented, and we jumped into my fandom today. So these are the questions, or the names we're going to give you, and positive only. Number 1, Dallas Cowboys.
I have to say something positive about the Dallas Cowboys?
Yes.
They're a really good drafting organization. They draft. I wish the Eagles drafted as well as the Cowboys. They don't put it together on the field, but they assemble talent.
Okay, Ryan.
Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Balboa. I mean, those are classic movies. Who doesn't love a good Rocky movie? You're depressed, watch a Rocky movie. That'll inspire.
Have you ever flipped through the channel, seen Rocky, and not watched it?
Oh no, and I'll tell you this: Rocky 3 for me, when he fights Clubber Lang, that's one of the best. Or when
Hulk Hogan's
in
in that
Rocky
one.
2, when Adrian tells him, whispers to him, just win, and then they go into that whole montage.
Oh yeah,
It's the best
that gets
thing
you every
ever.
time.
Yeah,
That's such a great
your
play.
hair on the back of your neck just stands up. It's just so
Amazing.
good.
I get really annoyed when people in other cities outside of Philly, because Rocky's like such a big thing to the city of Philadelphia, because Philly is the city of hope. Ironically, we never get rewarded very often when it comes to the sports stuff.
It is hilarious, though. It is hilarious that it's a fictional character. Now, I love that character, and I completely understand why he's so embraced, but it's a fictional character.
Yeah, but I mean, for our beleaguered sports city, we didn't have much going into that other than a fictional sports character.
Yeah. See, that's like the ultimate thing. Like, Rocky winning is what we wish would happen. Like, we'd actually get the knockout punch. Okay. Eagles general manager Howie Roseman. Something positive.
He can't live forever, so like he can't be the GM forever.
He's a hell of a male guy.
That is fucking great.
I'll say this about Howie Roseman. I am impressed with the way that he can manipulate the situation. Like, to his
he doesn't
benefit.
get fired?
Yeah, like he's like, the guy's survival skills are amazing. So like, I don't begrudge him trying to protect his $1 million+ a year salary, but like I just feel like he's it's going to turn into something negative. So I think that his survival skills are amazing.
If everyone hates him, then why isn't there more like-minded people?
So I'll tell you this: the reason why was because it's only become readily apparent, if you're to the casual fan, that he was fucking up drafts.
Ryan was going to make fun of me, and I don't mind him. I'm a huge football fan, and out here in Los Angeles, we got 2 football teams that nobody gives a fuck about either one of them, which is kind of crazy. We went from none to 2. And I actually looked into buying Rams tickets because I was like, I want to get football tickets and maybe I can make some money. Rams are too crazy. And then on top of it, I couldn't go there because I was like, dude, that competes with my fandom. They're in the NFC, so that ain't going to work. So I ended up getting Chargers tickets.
See, I thought this was going to go down a little bit differently. I thought you two were going to have your Philadelphia connection going on, and I thought I was prepared to be made fun of by 2 angry Philadelphia
Turns out
fans.
Mike's actually a really nice guy.
Yeah, I really like you, dude. And then I was gonna be like, well, if you're such a big Eagles fan, then why do you have Chargers season tickets?
Well, we talked about it earlier in the podcast about, I grew up, born and raised in Philly, and when I got to LA, people were like, this dude is fucking way too intense, right? Never heard that before I got here. There's something to be said about waking up to sunshine every morning. I mean, there really, really is something to it because, like, I don't know, just set your day off good.
Yeah,
I will
there's
say,
also something about
rain.
waking up not to 13% state taxes too. So
No, there's that. there's that. We'll
Guy's got solid points, dude. He's got solid points.
That is a valid point. Mike, we wanted to leave you with something that is nothing sports related.
Okay.
And we would like to get a Mad Mike take on this video.
Okay.
Ryan?
All right, what are your
Mike.
thoughts, Mr. Mad Mike, on this?
My mother and I have been waxing each other for quite some time now.
Oh my God. This time, let me know when you're about to rip it.
Okay, count.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh my goodness.
So, Mike, what's a Mad Mike take on this one?
Let me tell you first off, my wife loves she loves that 90-Day Fiancé nonsense, right?
So my chick got me to watch it, I'm not going to lie.
So that show, actually, I sit and stew in how angry I get at the stupidity of that show.
Is that 90-Day Fiancé that we were just watching?
No, but it's on the same channel. So I see commercials for this show the clip that you just showed me, right? So and I was just like amazed at how dumb these people can be. So like the 90-Day Fiancé people are stupid, but then these like mom daughter like smothered ridiculous, like I'm like my wife does not watch that, but I was like, don't ever watch that because I'll never sit here and watch that with you.
I don't want to change your impression of me. We're new bestie friends here, but I am Bachelor Nation.
Oh, are you?
I'm so into it. And here, I wasn't into it for the longest time. I wasn't into it for the longest time. I never watched one episode until about 6 months ago. Since then, I've watched like
This
every
is what
season
happens.
of
The
Bachelor in
pandemic took him
Paradise.
back to Pittsburgh.
The
Now he's back
pandemic
in
was bad
Pittsburgh, and
for
his
me,
mom
dude.
got him into this.
The pandemic was bad for me.
I feel we let Ryan off easy today. What do you think of Ben Roethlisberger?
Well, I think he's a knucklehead. Like, honestly, that's a guy that just walks around with Calliope music just playing in his head nonstop, right?
Well,
like,
he's been in a handful of accidents.
Yeah. And then you got Sidney Crosby is like just a whiny baby. Like yeah, you might win titles with him, but he's a whining
He's such a nice guy.
He is. I
He's a
gotta
little
say,
bitch.
I hated Sidney Crosby, and then I stumbled upon a Sidney Crosby
like hating
documentary
Santa
on
Claus.
YouTube. Yeah, no, he was a really sweet guy in this documentary. I was like, man, how do I hate this guy? He's like this little.
Yeah.
Who's this JoJo McCuster? Who's this guy
Oh, Juju Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, that dude's
yeah.
a
What'd you call him?
You call him
JoJo
JoJo.
Mc- what'd you call him?
Mix something. Hey, it's your team, bro, not mine.
Hey, fun fact. Instead
JoJo
of Hal
McMuffin.
Bozeman drafting Sidney Jones in 2017, he could have drafted Juju Smith-Schuster, but he took Sidney Jones, who can't play.
It's all right though. It's great because I'm glad we got to know each other. I hope we stay in touch. You know,
Yeah,
because,
definitely. I
this is
enjoyed
great.
the hell out of this.
Yeah,
this
man,
was
it's
fun.
fucking awesome.
We're gonna have you back on whenever the Steelers play the Eagles.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely.
The Battle of the Steagles.
When the football season starts up, we will get on here.
Hey,
a couple
man,
weeks
this was a lot of fun. I legit had a great time. It was great
Awesome,
meeting you
good,
guys.
in. You too, man. We had a blast. That was fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
definitely. I'll talk
Thanks
to you
for
guys
taking
soon.
the
Have a
time.
good one, all right? Can't
Absolutely.
wait
Thanks
to
for
see you
taking the
guys.
time, man. It was nice to meet
All
you.
right. Have a good one.
You too, brother.
too.
Take care. That was cool. He was cool. He was happy, Mike. And we took.
Happy Mike. You have to ask him if it's okay that we call the episode Happy Mike.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, Ryan, man. Boy, Mad Mike really wasn't Mad Mike after all. I would have to say maybe we can call him Happy Mike.
Sweetheart. He was a sweetheart.
Yeah, I mean, he did say he was walking around happy all the time, and that it was
Yeah.
just he seemed very happy to me. Mike,
That makes me
was
feel
great.
good, though. That makes me feel good. I don't want another angry guy in the world.
No, and you know what? He's got very valid points. I think his argument's good. He's a fan. He's just a tortured fan, as we all are from Philly. But when it comes down to it, Mad Mike was a decent guy. Thank you for coming, Mad Mike. And everybody, thank you for listening to the Whatever Buddy podcast today. Make sure you subscribe on all your favorite outlets. If you haven't watched us yet, we are on the youtube.com. That is youtube.com, Whatever Buddy podcast. Until next time, you all have a great day, and we will see you next week.
See ya.